Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Yakima RidgeBack on the back of our 2022 Ford Maverick. The RidgeBack is a hanging style bike rack that can carry up to 4 bikes. Because it's a hanging rack, we do probably want to avoid carbon frame bikes because hanging by the frame can damage it. With alternative frame bikes and kids bikes, we're going to want to make sure we get a bike adapter bar to make sure that the bike either hangs level or, in the case of the kids bikes, make sure that it fits over this dual arm design. These dual arms aren't super friendly to those smaller kids frames, so it's just something to be aware of. Aside from that though, it's got a 150 pound weight capacity overall, so all of your bikes loaded up must not exceed that. And if you're carrying just a single bike, that one bike can weigh up to 40 pounds. It has 3 points of contact, the 2 zip strips on top, and the third one on the side to limit our side-to-side movement. That's going to help with bike-to-bike contact and just reducing that movement. It doesn't eliminate it entirely, but compared to a lot of other hanging racks that just use this stretchy rubber strap, these work a lot better at reducing that movement. Getting them removed is pretty straightforward. Just pinch the 2 tabs on the side and pull it out. The one on the side is a little bit tricky because of the bike tire being in the way. But you can see with the ones on top, it's really quick. Now these do fully remove, so make sure you keep an eye on them because they do have a tendency to get lost when they aren't just stored right on the bike rack. Then you can just lift the bike up and away. Because of the height of the bike rack, where it sits in the hitch, it does put it at somewhat of an awkward height. I'd say the arms are pretty much right at neck level, so for that very inner cradle, it can be a little awkward loading the bike up. But overall, it's not too bad. And then I always like to replace these because with us keeping these bike racks down in the shop, I don't want them to get lost. And the next thing we can check out here is the tilting feature. There's a black lever out on the front side of the mast that we can pull and lower the whole rack down. We want to do this without bikes loaded because the bikes will make contact with the ground if we don't. And this will allow us to open up our tailgate. And I will say that it's very close. Right up here at the very end of the tailgate, there is a millimeter, maybe less, of space. And if you put any sort of pressure on the tailgate, it does make a little bit of contact. That contact is just plastic on plastic, so I'm not too worried about any sort of scuffs or scratches. But I don't know if I would necessarily sit on the tailgate and put weight there to maybe change my shoes before or after my ride. I'd just use it to get to the back if I needed to. Pushing this back up, it'll snap right back into place. Keep your fingers clear of that latch because it will snap and pinch you, and it's not a fun feeling. Taking a look at some measurements here, we can check out first our distance added to the back, which from the bumper out to the end, it's going to be coming in right at 40 inches. And overall, that's not too bad for a 4-bike rack. We can reduce that space though by using the gray lever up top to fold the arms down. That way, if we want to leave this in the hitch between rides, we can take up less space, only sticking out 13 inches now, so it's a lot easier to pull into a parking space this way. It will block your backup camera, whether you've got the arms up, down, bikes loaded or unloaded, because that mast is right in line with the backup camera, so just be mindful of that too. Moving our way down the bike rack, it's going to be working with our 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube using the included adapter sleeve. Installs just with this pin in the side and tightens down with this tool-free anti-rattle knob. So if I loosen that up, that'll allow us to remove it from the hitch, making for a very tool-free install, which is really nice. You can see that block right there that expands out to activate that anti-rattle. So then installing it in the hitch, all you have to do is insert it in, get that pinhole aligned, which can be a little tricky, but luckily since it's not a very bulky bike rack, it's pretty easy to move in and out and get around to watch it, see when that hole aligns, and then you can just tighten down the anti-rattle knob. I like to put a little bit of upward pressure on the mast when I do that, just to ensure really good contact on the inside of the receiver tube. And then you can just lock it up on the outside so it's secure and no one's messing with it when you're not around. Overall, the RidgeBack is a pretty nice bike rack. The levers make it really easy to use those tilting and folding functions, so it's really user-friendly in that way. If you need extra capacity, you can get a 5-bike version. I'd maybe recommend checking out the Kurt Premium as well. It's going to be a very similar bike rack, but it's more accommodating to those kids' bikes because the arms narrow together at the very end, and it's going to have a higher weight capacity. Either way you go, though, I think they'll both be fine fits for the Ford Maverick. Thanks for watching.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. And finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.